Good green morning to all those who celebrate, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB Guys. Reminder, as always, there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Max and Unbothered Jackus. Welcome to you guys as well. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. We are seeing a tremendous amount of movement already to start this brand new year, 2025. And we are starting it with some nice green candles, right? The first week that we're finally seeing fund managers kind of start to return from holidays, we are seeing volume really start to return to these markets. And of course, we have to discuss not just where we expect pricing to go over the next few weeks, the next few months, but also what we are seeing today, which, as I said at the start of the show, is quite a bit of green, right? Bitcoin up 4%, ETH up 3%, altcoins thriving. But before we can go a little bit more in depth, before we can talk about, like I said, probably our predictions for the year, and of course, our predictions for Q1, Q2, etc., you know what I'm about to ask you. I need you guys to slam the like button. And I said this last week, I'm going to say it again. Some people in the comments have said before that they won't hit the like button unless the market is green. So if you guys are not smashing the like button today, I am going to be disappointed. I really don't want to have to look at soybeans on a day where the market is doing what it is currently doing. So make sure to do your part so we can do nothing but cook you guys up the best alpha that we possibly can today. I see we are as well joined by Big Louie. Welcome, Louie, to you. But yeah, just some granular thoughts on the market as we look across the board, right? Bitcoin up 4%. We're back above 100K. I think we said last week that a return above 100K would be a very positive signal for altcoins. It would likely be kind of a de facto green light. And of course, we are seeing altcoins take the onus today as well, right? I mean, Bitcoin dominance might be slightly green today. I have not looked. I do know Bitcoin is outperforming ETH, but I can't imagine that that is going to be the case for long, guys. We've talked before about how Q1 is especially a seasonally favorable period for altcoins. I think we are seeing the market, as usual, kind of continue to take that seasonality and run with it, right? So I want to make sure we look at basically, all the leading altcoin charts, obviously what we expect from things like ETH, things like Solana, and yeah, of course, a lot of the VC scams as well are going to be pumping here. As we have pointed out before, memes will be pumping. I think we're finally going to be able to see some dispersion in this market, right? It's been very much a market of haves and have-nots over the last 1 to 2 months. It's been kind of Bitcoin running, altcoins pulled back significantly harder than Bitcoin from our recent local highs. And of course, you have some on-chain narratives that have been continuing to run hot, like AI agents. And of course, we'll talk about those as well. But yeah, in the meantime, guys, we also have equities up 1% today, volatility getting smashed. Although I will say, I think we could be entering a period where the market could be moving up in unison with volatility. And I'm sure that we'll talk about that as well. We have quite, I think, the environment that we are already beginning to foster to start this year. Have to say, I'm very excited, guys. But let's see what happens here over the next week or so. How are we doing, guys? What are we seeing in the markets? And of course, how are our weekends?
Interesting.
I mean, had a good weekend, having a better Monday, I'll tell you. It turns out that, unfortunately, my mood is directly correlated to the price of digital assets. Who could have foreseen that to be the case? But I love a good Monday pump, man. I mean, we were watching it this weekend. It looked like things were really setting up for a move higher. There was some pretty constructive price action. Specifically, I was really liking how ETH looked. I was also really liking how others looked, and we'll talk about some of those charts today. But yeah, I mean, it's January, right? We talked about how you can really only move the goalposts so much before you're just coping. And it's like, if we're going to pump, it needs to start now. Like, we need some follow through in January to set us up for a very bullish Q1 and hopefully Q2. And, we set a little, yearly open bear trap, and I was hoping that that would be enough. And at this point, dare I say, the yearly low might already be in on basically everything. So I'm hoping that, we can rip into the Trump inauguration. We'll just basically see altcoins go nuts. Others' dominance should go through the roof. ETH BTC should put in some meat sticks finally after like 3 years of down only. But genuinely just bullish. Like I'm very, very bullish right now. And what a Monday. But I'll leave it there, and then we'll kind of go around the table and then show some charts. But good day to be a bull, I'll tell you.
Yeah, my weekend was also amazing, guys. Was in the mountains. Some people know what it means, but I enjoyed it. It's important to relax over the weekend and not stress over the charts too much, so that we can stay fresh and observe the markets for what it is. Because everyone has experienced that little burnout when you are into the markets every single day, and then it kind of gets to you. So I feel very relaxed, very in line with the charts. Obviously, insiders know that I still cannot do sports because of my knee injury, but at least I was able to walk, breathe fresh air, and that was really nice and relaxing. So now back to the market. It's behaving exactly as expected. We are still in this reaccumulation range, and I will continue to say that markets for this year look the best. I think this is going to be the best year of the cycle. Obviously, that doesn't mean we will not get price fluctuations. We still do need to follow the chart for what it is. The market is still going to be respecting levels today, tomorrow, another year, and another decade. But all in all, pretty bullish. And so far, the only risks I see would be DXY if it weren't topped here. But I think it's going to be. So that's my outlook.
Well.
Louis Meat Stick.
I had a very eventful weekend, not the eventfulness that one would like. I had a sick baby. Had to make some middle of the night hospital runs this weekend. Baby not doing too well, but he is better now. He's just dealing with a cough and stuff like that, but he had a really bad fever. So we kind of freaked out. He hasn't really been sick yet. So it's a learning process for us, but he had a really bad fever. So we took him to the hospital middle of the night just in case, but all is well, just dealing with like cough and stuffiness now. So me and my wife are exhausted. Taking care of a sick baby is not easy, but thank God it was the weekend. So I really didn't get to look at much about price or on price over the weekend. Did hop on Twitter here and there when I had a minute. Saw some schematics being put out there to the downside. And like Max was saying, we're just at the part of the cycle where that, I don't think that's what we're going to see, right? These pullbacks are going to be shallower and quicker. And we're part of the cycle where I think, price should be starting to head to the upside. Like we've done our consolidations, we've done our, our shakeouts, we've done our sweep of the lows. And now it's time to go. Right. So, and that's what we were talking about, last week. So seeing some nice price action Monday. But yeah, and I see Lars in the comments. What's going on, man? He says, how do you know when your baby is sick? Fever, right? When they're running, you could feel like he was putting off heat. He was like a ball of fire. It was crazy. And then he like woke up in the middle of the night and was like, and I was like, oh my God, can he breathe? Like, I don't know. And we were like, well, let's go. Thank God we're close to the hospital. So we ran to the hospital. They take him right in because he's a baby, which is great. But yeah, scary night. And then you can't sleep because then you're waking up every 5 minutes, making sure he's okay. So yeah. Long weekend, but happy to come in on Monday to some green candles. So glad to be here.
Oh, Louis, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. And also I don't know if the stream rugged on X. I got some weird like notification that there's an issue streaming to X. But
let me check on my end.
I don't know. It kind of looks like maybe it did rug.
Oh my
Wow, that's a bummer. But anyways, yeah, I just got like a weird alert from StreamYard here. Just on X. I think we're still good on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't
But
see it.
yeah, I think we got rugged there. Damn. But anyways, we're on YouTube. We'll make the most of it. But yeah, Louis, I'm sorry to hear that, bro. I know you had mentioned to me that your little man had a fever, but yeah, it's scary. I've been there too. It's just like they can't really talk to you either, so all they do is cry, and then you're just like you assume the worst. So it's pretty scary, but
Yeah.
I'm happy he's doing better. But yeah, you're probably exhausted. But the good news is you probably have more money than you had on Friday. So
Yeah.
you know, a weekend to a prosperous Monday, right?
So that'll be going towards the hospital bill. So
yeah, you don't have to pay those, bro.
yeah, send it to
Then they
collect.
don't exist. Yeah,
We'll do the will special.
yeah, the will special. Don't do that. All right, well let's do this. Louis, you want to show some charts, or you want me to show some charts, or
I
kind of
can
want to
start.
see your charts to start. I know you
All
probably
right,
didn't
cool.
spend a lot of time on the weekend
Well, yeah,
looking
but
at charts.
that's okay because they could just watch me go through what I'm looking at real time because I haven't looked at the charts all weekend. So we could dive in.
Yeah, and while you're doing that, I'm gonna try to figure out if the stream is cooked. I know we're good on YouTube, but it's giving me some weird errors. I'm pretty sure it rugged on Twitter, but I don't know. Whatever.
I tried to stream mine and it just gave me an error. So yeah. But yeah, I mean, take a look at Bitcoin here. This looks really good here, guys. I had this drawn out or written out last week that this was a key level for us to flip, for price to flip for Bitcoin, and that was 99.5K. Obviously, it is a key level because, I mean, look at all the price reactions we have in this area. Lots of local highs, acting as resistance. You get above it, like, for instance, here, we shoot up to 108K. So this was a key level on the chart that I had mapped out. And, over the weekend, excuse me, we grinded higher, right? We're grinding higher, bull chopping. And we got back above 90, 99.5. And now we are seeing, that push higher, price acceptance above this level. And that's why it's a key level. So I'm really, really liking the price action we're seeing today. Let's take a look at volume, see how we're looking. Decent volume here so far. Seeing night, this was, I guess, over the weekend, right? Low volume coming into a Monday, seeing nice big green volume bars, along with the candlesticks. That's what you want to see, right? That's exactly what you want to see. So this is a really good spot for Bitcoin. What we need to do now is we have some more resistance above. We have this kind of rising channel, right, that we were in since back in November, right? And we kind of bull chopped. We didn't leave this channel to the upside. We did break down. This was kind of our deviation of the channel down here over the last couple of weeks going into the holiday. So now that we're back above this key SR flip level, we want to get back inside this channel. So, don't be surprised if we get a little rejection here on the first attempt. This is a major level, right? Look at all these touches here, right? Over time, right? Over the last couple months from underside and inside. So, don't be surprised if we maybe get a rejection up here around 104, 103.5, 104K, right? But ultimately, we have to get back above this trend line, which will allow us to, continue our projection higher, in my opinion. So above a key level, that's a great start. Next thing is getting back into this rising channel. And after that, we're pretty much looking very good on Bitcoin for a continued pump higher here on the local levels and local time frame.
Louis, I need to know one thing.
Yes.
Are we back or are we so back?
We never left, Jackus. We never left.
wait. It was so over just a few days ago.
Maybe for some, but they need to study faith.
It's a circle after all.
It's a circle.
Circus, yeah.
You guys want to see ETH?
Of course I do, bro. I need the price to go up, Louis. I need the price to go up. Tell me all about ETH.
Max, we talked about this on Friday, right? We had a nice yap session, just the two of us.
We did.
And the viewers, you know, they're pretty consistent with showing up. So it was a Friday show. I know people, you know, slack on Fridays, but we cooked on Friday. If you were here Friday, I talked about this little bottoming formation here on the lower time frame, right? We call this an ascending triangle, right? This is a reversal pattern or a pivot pattern, right? You have a rising demand into a flat top, you know, multiple rejections. And I mentioned that this is a classic bottoming pattern. In fact, one of my favorite ones, because they really do shake people out before heading back to the upside. But we talked about, you know, getting rejected here was fine as long as we kind of found support and then went for the breakout, right? It's like that classic 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we go, right? So it's 3 taps and go. And this is just a beautiful move, right? Beautiful move. And again, similar to Bitcoin, which we had that 99.5 key SR flip level for ETH, that was like 3,600, right? And again, ETH following in Bitcoin's footsteps, we are back above this key supply resistance flip level. You know, obviously massive touches here, plenty of touches, basically a little range we had up here. So, you know, pushing above key levels right now, coming into a major FEG on ETH that ranges basically from 37 to 3,800. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets filled. And then maybe, you know, don't be surprised again, like similar to Bitcoin. Don't be surprised if you see a local rejection or a local pullback. But again, because we are back above 3,600 after, you know, putting in all this price action below that level, you know, getting above 3,600 is our key to getting back to range highs, which is 4K. So I believe over the next week or so, we will be testing 4K once again. And 4K is basically our last resistance or our range high before we can start heading back to our 2021 all-time high of 5K. So things looking great here for ETH, which ultimately means great things for altcoins.
Someone was going to say something. I heard Jackus. You opened your mouth. I heard it.
No, that was a bait.
Oh, my ears are lying to me. I swear I heard Jackus. No.
I was just gonna say that it's likely going to be the best year of the cycle anyway.
Yep.
Just it is what it is. Part of the plan.
It is what it is.
I think everything's kind of lining up for this quarter. You know,
Yeah.
this is a cycle that has very much respected seasonality since the 2022 bottom. Q1 and Q4, 2022, 2023, and 2024, we all saw the market, at least this, from a dispersion standpoint, from an altcoin performance standpoint, you know, we have always seen that outperformance occur in Q1 or Q4 of the last few seasons or the last few years. So I don't really expect this this year to be any different. I kind of think, just given where ETH is trading right now, we are in position for potentially a very speculatively lucrative Q1 here. And I think equities reflect that as well. You know, we've been talking about for a long time how it's unlikely that the VIX is going to go lower, right? But that doesn't have to be necessarily a bad thing, because as we've seen before in times like the tech bubble, the market has moved higher with volatility. And I do think that that is the kind of natural conclusion to the last year, to the last 2 years, that this market goes up with volatility, however long that lasts. But we are heading into, like I said, a seasonally very favorable period, not just for crypto and altcoins, but also for equities as well. We have the inauguration as well as the first 100 days. There's likely to be a lot of liquidity injected into the market just naturally through the populist politics that we're likely to see here this quarter. So I think everything is really kind of lining up for just a pretty insane Q1, to be quite frank.
Yeah, I would agree with you, man. I really would. And here's the thing is, if there was ever a time for altcoins to just do something crazy, it would be right now. You know, maybe not in the next 30 minutes, but over the next 90 days. And it's hard for me to look at this ETH chart that Louis has and think the catch-up trade of a lifetime is not right in front of us, right here. ETH has been a dog this entire cycle, and that's fine because it usually always does that, to be fair. The optimist in me was thinking, you know what, maybe that won't happen this cycle. It happened, but we're past that at this point. Like, there's a lot of evidence to show that once January 1st strikes, typically ETH steals the show, right? All the Sol maxis will probably cope a little bit. We'll get a little ETH season at least for a quarter or a quarter and a half. All the Bitcoin maxis, they fudded ETH, when ETH BTC was breaking down for months. And to be fair, like Tommy, I'm speaking more to you on this, okay? Because we've talked about this. The ETH BTC chart should not exist. You shouldn't have been able to get away with a free pair trade, longing Bitcoin, shorting ETH for as long as you did without any break of structures, any traps, nothing. Like, the amount of highs that are vulnerable on that chart right there. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a chart that really looked like that. So I think some funds need to get blown out, because I know that there's going to be a positional unwind because of how this chart looks. There hasn't even been like a fake sweep of a high on this chart in 3 years. That shouldn't be allowed, right? But that's just my own take. Maybe not.
No, I think you're right. Not just from a positioning standpoint as it relates to ETH Bitcoin, but also ETH USD. Open interest basically at all-time highs. Lots of shorts that have entered the market. And that's not just like directional shorting, guys. A lot of that is hedging. Obviously, there are some more sophisticated dynamics at play, something like staking, obviously selling options. I mean, we've been talking about how ETH volatility has been suppressed for that reason for years. But what happens if that positioning finally is forced into unwinding? And I do think that just the slow grind that we've seen to the highs, high time frame ETH USD, you're working on your fourth tap at basically that 4K resistance over the last 3 or 4 years. Everything from a technical standpoint favors an ETH breakout here. It's just kind of been waiting on, it doesn't even have to be a catalyst, right? But like something to force the breakout and then make people believe there's a catalyst, whatever. It's whenever you get that breakout, you're going to start to see that positioning on ETH unwind that has been suppressing it for so long. And I really hate the term beach ball underwater, but I think that is exactly what ETH is right now. If you are pressing back up against 4K here in the next few weeks, I don't think that it's going to hold. The breakout will actually be probably pretty explosive, because you talk about value breaks, right? It's not just, okay, technical breakout, retail says I'm going to ape here. It's also 4 years of built up positioning within this range that has to ultimately unwind. No matter what shape or form that positioning takes, it's going to have to be, probably rebalanced at the very least. And at best, you're going to see a huge short squeeze. So that's how I view the positioning on ETH right now.
Look at this massive bull div on the weekly too. I just noticed it. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Somebody help.
Something's brewing, that's for sure.
Yeah. Okay, wait. There we go. Look at this. Oof, that's massive, guys. That's a massive bull div. This thing we're at range lows for ETH BTC. Massive bull div on the weekly, right? It's not like a 2-hour bull div. Like, this is a weekly time frame bull div. Extreme weight. We're at range lows, and this, like Max has said, this is just a slow bleed over years, right? Like all these highs are gonna get ripped to the upside, in my opinion. Not saying, I mean, who knows what ETH BTC does, right? Who knows? We've talked about this in the past. I could see it staying within this range, right? Staying within this range, and maybe oscillating over the next couple years, right? But who knows, right? But I mean, look where we're at now, and look at what we've seen from a handful of altcoins over the last year or two, where we've had altcoins do thousands of % gains. Not all altcoins, right? A lot of altcoins have been putting in, bottoming patterns or bases, but some altcoins have done thousands of % in gains And we haven't even seen ETH-BTC, bounce off range lows yet. So imagine the environment we're going to see with ETH-BTC, heading back to the upside when all we've seen over the last 2 years is this, right? So exciting times to come.
I mean, it's just super hard. Like, looking at this chart can give you sometimes mixed feelings, but I think it's just as simple as looking at ECUSD and breaking that 4K level. Like, the moment it flips it, this one will run and probably all those highs. And if so, then this is like a do or die level, basically. It's the max opportunity level you can get.
Yeah, it really is. I for one am expecting new highs for ETH-BTC this cycle. I know maybe that's a bold take right now, but to me it feels like you're going to not just get like a reclaim of 0.06. I think what you're going to see is kind of like a meat stick through it. I don't know if I'm expecting that, right? I don't know if I'm expecting that, but I do think there is so much positional unwind that is going to occur on this chart. And it's basically going to be like 4 years of a trend that happens in 4 months that I think you're going to get a big overshoot to the upside. And that's not a bearish Bitcoin thing. It's a bullish Bitcoin thing. But it's like when Jackus is talking about that 4K level on ETH-USD, a lot of people are viewing it as 2 different cycles. Like you have last cycle where we went to, almost 5K and we ranged, and now we have this cycle. It's, the second half of last cycle leading all the way through the bear market into where we're at right now is one giant cycle, and it's a giant range for ETH-USD, basically from like 4K to 2K with a little deviation up and little deviation down. And you look at the ETH-BTC chart and you just think, like, all those highs are going to get taken, and they're going to get taken very quickly. I don't think it's going to be a slow grind up like it was down. I think this is a stairs down, elevator up type of chart, right? And I've also talked about this. You don't have to pull it up, Louis. I can share it in a little bit. But I've talked about, someone here in the comments pointed out to me like a month ago, the ETH-BTC pair, but look at it on the CME futures chart. And it paints a much different picture than this, right? And in my view, it paints a much more bullish picture than this, right? But anyways, I really think we're about to just fly, man. I really think we're about to just do something crazy.
Yeah, and historically, again, January and Q1 is the most bullish period for ETH. So it must be right now. Like ETH, based on its structure, because it's like getting tighter and tighter, and with its seasonality, it cannot go over May, just keep on ranging. So it's really like it came to the peak. They extended it as much as possible until not just Trump election, but Trump's inauguration, likely.
Yeah, let's go back and look. Let's look at the monthly candle from January last cycle. Bang. Yeah. Meat stick back to all-time highs. January of last cycle. Do we see a repeat? Yes.
I mean, there were some pretty good poly market odds that Tommy might want to talk about. I don't know.
I'm gonna keep those to myself. There's some value, I think, in the poly market for ETH right now through the end of January is all I will say.
There was an interest. It was at 8% last night. That's your only hint. All right.
I don't even know what it's at right now. I'd have to check.
I bet it's up a little bit. Probably not too crazy, but
yeah, this was a monthly. What percent gain was this for? A 72% monthly candle, 80% monthly candlestick for ETH in January, right at the start of the month.
I mean, man, it's really just a matter of Q1 seasonality, and I feel like the monthly candle shook a lot of people out, right? I mean, December was a bad month, but I feel like we're going to look back on it and it's going to be a monthly order block, right? Like we'll be way above it. And that this base right here.
You're talking about for Bitcoin?
No, the chart you have right here. So like the range
candle?
that you have drawn, I feel like we're going to look back in the bear market, and this will probably be like a very obvious monthly order block that we expect to get hit. Like the December candle.
Yeah.
This right there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because look at the base that's being built right now.
Yeah. It's honestly just like a massive inverse head and shoulders. Like if you're just doing classical charting, like the simplest of TA, like it's just a massive, like, let me go to the weekly here. Like this is what we're looking at here. It's just a giant continuation pattern we've been putting in over the last year, literally a year-long inverse head and shoulder pattern. Right. And I said that on one of the streams, was like, everyone wants to talk about this tiny, like, Bitcoin potential head and shoulders top on Bitcoin. I was like, but no one's talking about the massive year-long inverse head and shoulders on ETH. I was like, you guys are looking at the wrong thing. Like, this is massive, right? This is a
classic. Louis, you can't do inverse head and shoulders pattern on such a long time frame. It doesn't work.
I've read the text. I've read the textbooks. The people that are saying that likely have not. I put in the time, and yeah, that's it. Most people don't take the time to read a textbook. They'll just see one person post it on Twitter and take it as truth, but not always the case.
But Louis, you can't do this. Everyone sees this, so it's obvious, so it will not play out. Be short. 0.
Actually, no one saw this. I haven't seen one person show this. Barely.
I just know that people are, overthinking stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
like they are either left curve or they're trying to be too much right curve.
Yeah.
So that they end up in the middle. And everyone was saying that the higher time frame reaccumulation structure on BTC for March was, lots of people were saying, hey, this is a giant bull flag. Some people were saying it's the handle of a cup, right? Like a big 4-year cup and handle. And I heard that from lots of people, like, hey, you can't do this for such a long period of time frame. Or people said, hey, everyone is seeing this, so it will not play out. And it's like, you're like that guy who is like, everyone is bullish, so I'm bearish, but everyone's bearish, so I'm bullish, but because everyone is bullish and bearish, therefore I'm bearish. And it's like, bro.
No, yeah, it's funny. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. It's so funny because people go on Twitter and they go around and they try to find the best people they could find in the market that know what they're talking about, and they cultivate a following on Twitter. And then when at some points in the market where majority of those people are bullish, after curating a list of people to follow to help guide you in the market, they go, oh, too many people are bullish. It's time to be bearish. And meanwhile, they spent years cultivating a Twitter, following people on Twitter that are good at what they do. And then they just fade them. like if you were around in 2021, everyone was bullish. And for a long time, and it lasted a year, longer than that. Like eventually that kind of way to look at the market fails. Like in a bear market, yeah. Right. Like if you're in a bear market, we're getting a dead cat bounce. Everyone gets bullish at the top of the dead cat bounce. Yeah, okay, then you fade that. But we're not at that time in the cycle. We're at the time of the cycle where things are going to be bullish and remain bullish longer than most people think, in my opinion.
I mean, we're starting to flip local levels here, man. It looks it looks quite good to me. I'm gonna Tommy the chart.
Go ahead.
And cook a little bit here.
I think, Max, you should talk about the best way to left curve the Ethereum trade.
The best way to left curve the Ethereum trade. Probably just shove spot Pepe. Or is that the exactly right? It's a circle, bro. You're so left curve, you're right curve. It's not it's just a circle. But yeah, we're gonna talk about Pepe, bro. We are definitely gonna talk about Pepe. But looking at this chart here, like this was the local supply that we had right here, right? This was your last little bit here for ETH. And we chewed through it, right? We chewed through it. We had some big buy volume this morning. I posted this chart. I may have posted it I posted it in the Discord, and then I think I put it on X under my KOL button, my subscriber only. my subscriber KOL button. But
Make it sound like OnlyFans.
it basically is, bro.
Oh.
It's the charts are a little bit sensual too, you know, with all the colors. And so, you know, if you want some really good looking charts, you can check out the KOL button. But I mean, just join the Discord. But either way, this was kind of our last local supply region right here. And it capped us all weekend, right? We were just kind of churning into it. But something that I was quick to identify was the following. We had, you know, so local range high right here. We had a big seller come in right here on this candle. We had a big seller come in right here on this candle. And we kind of chopped around that entry. And then we had a GigaChat buyer come in and smash us through the range high, leaving this beta cuck seller completely underwater while the GigaChat buyer blasted us through, right? So this, you know, based on, you know, positional bias or assumption, this right here is a position that's going to be protected. We had a plus 2.5 standard deviation buy volume breakout above range high right after this little beta boy here tried to sell the range high. It is what it is. So it was looking really solid all weekend. The only thing that, you know, really was annoying was this little, you know, local supply node right here, which is actually here. It was actually basically a 12-hour order block here. Let me remove this. You can see this was a 12-hour order block right here, like the top part of it. But we've now, you know, we're above it, right? So we have a range breakout here supported by, you know, really solid buy volume. Weekend or last week, you know, we had some big sellers come in at the range high, trapped underwater, which again is only fuel to send us higher. And now we chewed through this supply region. So, I mean, I really think like your next region, you know, like you get through this right here, you know, at maybe 100 points higher, give or take, 200 points higher. I mean, you really should start flying. Like you broke out of this range. All of this now, like we really shouldn't be, you know, re-entering this. Like we are broken out. I don't see at this point how this is a deviation of, you know, this range. I think you kind of had your opportunity. There was this morning, we were talking about it on our Discord call. You know, the chart looked like this, right? And I was saying to our Discord, I was like, look, guys, everybody sees the 3 drive into the local supply, right? Like it's very obvious. It's like 1, 2, 3, like 3 drive into the high. The problem is if you don't break down here, right? Basically what you set yourself up for is there's no such thing as like a 4th drive into the high. When you don't break down, then you typically just like flip it and then you start moving up, right? So it's actually a really nice bear trap locally. And we were talking about that. So obviously, you know, since then we moved. So we're looking pretty good. But this doesn't feel like a range deviation to me. What this feels like is we have a range breakout. We've got some support below us. It is Monday, so, you know, maybe expect a little bit of chop. But I, for one, am not expecting reacceptance back into, you know, this range down here. I feel as though we've moved past that. I guess we could maybe get like a news catalyst or something, but, you know, those are always kind of weird events. But, I mean, I think it looks really, really solid, guys. I do. I think it looks really solid. And, you know, even just looking at the higher time frame, right? I can just get rid of this. Looking at the higher time frame, this is what I was suggesting, you know, like this level right here. When you flip this level, guys, when you flip this level once and for all, you are exiting, I mean, truly a mega range, right? And I don't know how we want to draw this. Probably go like range high, range low with.
I'm sorry, Max, to stop you, but it had to be done.
Oh, he was just about to give us the sauce.
Oh my gosh, guys!
It's your fault, guys. It's your fault.
What's the number at right now, Jack? Because I'm afraid to look.
Feel bad, guys. Feel bad. Go into the corner and cry.
We have 711 watching on YouTube, and we have 340 likes. I mean,
and they've panicked. It was 311 just 2 minutes ago.
they panic
They're
like.
panic-liking.
They panic like. Well, I mean, I don't think I can even continue the show unless we get at least 450, but I don't know. I mean, it's just like you're watching the show and, you know, we're here cooking and all you have to do is just like, you know, grab your mouse and just like put your finger down on the button, you know, and then it just helps us out, you know, like that's all you have to do. But for real, guys, if you can support us, please do. The mega cap tech overlords have determined that the only way a channel continues to grow and get engagement is actually by the like button. And it's such a bummer because, you know, it's a very arbitrary and oversimplistic way to gauge who's pumping out great content. But we do live in a world where the like button really does matter. So if you could do us a solid and just hit that like, get back to the show, guys. And there's so many of you watching. There's like over 300 of you that are sitting here listening to me talk, being like, nah, I don't think I'm going to like it. Take all this content for free. And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, that's why, because of you, we're looking at the soybean chart.
Is that Tucker?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, it is Tucker.
That's like really, really similar to the actual picture.
That's wild. All right, let's see what we're at. 448. Guys, 2 more likes and we're back to the stream. You guys are cooking. That was a lot of likes. That was a ton of likes. All right, 450. We're good. All right, that's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good. But guys, point being is we're in this giant range right here. Like when we were talking about Bitcoin, you know, breaking out of an 8-month range, right? You guys remember this one? You remember this range right here? I mean, I remember it. It was terrible. This range, when you break out of a giant range, you know, after being in there for multiple months, it's typically a huge move, right? So if we go back to ETH, and you think about the magnitude of the move that's potentially brewing on a breakout of not an 8-month range, but literally a range that goes back to 2021. Like, how many days even is this?
Wait,
Right.
Mark, so you're not part of the group of one more leg higher and then zero?
I think we could just go straight to zero, you know, like I actually think so. Here's the thing is most people don't know this, but TradingView, if you look at the price axis on the right side, it actually goes to the negative over here. So these are targets that are in play because if you draw this trend line right here, and then if you look for Elliott Wave 6, right? Elliott Wave 6, you will go like this. And then you will actually, here's the zero line on TradingView, and they make that the price axis go negative for a reason because they could go negative. So Elliott Wave 6 would take us down here, right? And many people
fair value for ETH.
Fair value.
They'll pay us. They'll pay us to buy. They'll pay us to take the ETH off their hands, and our entry will be pristine, and then we go straight up.
I'd be look. There's some equal lows at negative $60 on ETH. I'm looking to have the FVG filled on the sweep of the equal lows. But yeah, you know, I mean,
You'll have to pay people to buy your ETH from
you. Take this ETH, I'll pay you.
Yeah, but I mean, joking aside, guys, like this is a monster range right here. This is genuinely. I don't think people are ready for what happens when you flip this. You know, like when you meet stick up here. It's not going to be like a little, and that's why when people say to me, like, do you think ETH can go to 10K max? I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? It went to 5K last cycle, and we've been ranging for 1,500 days with ETH BTC literally down only. Like, do I think that ETH could go to 10K? I would be like shocked if it didn't get to 10K. Like, I would be so disappointed in ETH if it didn't get to 10K. Like, ETH should, in theory, at least go to 15K. Look at what Bitcoin did last cycle. Bitcoin went from 20K to 70K, and I'm rounding a little bit, but you get the point, right? why is the bar so low for ETH when we know that it typically rips really hard for like 5 months while Bitcoin's in price discovery? Like
PTSD.
you don't think that ETH can rip a 2x from here or from its previous all-time high? Are you kidding me? The question should be, can ETH go to 15K? Can it go to 20K? The debate should be 20K, not 10K. You really think that ETH can't rip a 2x from last cycle's high? Are you kidding me? I take that personally. So I don't know. I think a lot of people, I mean, Jack has said it, people have PTSD. Like people have bear market chop PTSD. And I think it's going to cause a lot of people to sell. Or like, here's the thing. So many people that I see on X are like, oh yeah, like I'm going to sell, I'm going to sell up here at, 9,000 to front run all the 10K people. I'm like, you're going to end up coping. You're going to end up coping. Like you could be right for like a week or two because people will front run it. But I think you're going to be coping. It's going to be like the guys that sold 90K to front run 100K on Bitcoin. That's going to age horribly for them. We already went to 108K and we're probably going to go to 200K.
Ooh, bold.
Am I wrong?
Never.
Study John Brown.
Honestly, study Bitfinex and Tether.
Yeah, study them. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to share this just in case anybody wanted to see it or hasn't seen it before. But this is part of the reason why I think that ETH BTC could actually go on to make a new high this cycle. Here's the ETH BTC chart as it pertains to the CME futures for ETH and Bitcoin. This is how I think this is going to play out. For one, it's not a coincidence that we deviated the high and then also deviated the low with all this interaction here at the opening tick. That chart looks so messy. Let's redraw it.
That's 2.5 years of pure pain and torture reflected on a chart.
It is, and I think it's going to resolve very quickly to the upside, though. Like deviation is in, range symmetry is there, and I think what you're going to do is you're going to come up here, reject, for a minute, and then you're going to just take out all these highs, right? And I don't know exactly where it resolves. Like, do we break out of the range? Do we put in a deviation of, this high, or like I don't really know. But I just know that I'm expecting at least like it at a minimum, we would view this as like mega supply. At a minimum, I would expect this level to get hit and we just continue to range, right? So I'm looking at this chart and I'm just bullish, right? Like I'm just genuinely bullish this chart. I don't think you can be bearish this chart. I think it's an absolutely perfect setup. And you low-key have like an internal PO3 that's forming as well. Like you have, this as, your accumulation. You have this as like deep value, manipulation, right? And then if you break above this diagonal in the opening tick again, which was the first ever price traded on the ETH Bitcoin CME futures pair, you really do have like a very clean internal PO3 within this giant multi-year range. So I think that ETH BTC could honestly go on to like at least tag range high from last cycle, which was what was it 0.085, 0.09 almost. So if we just kind of extrapolate that out, like what do we think is possible for Bitcoin? Let's just say like even conservatively 150, right? I feel like that's being pretty conservative. And let's say that ETH hits an all-time high while Bitcoin is, already 20K off of its all-time high. So let's say Bitcoin's at 130 pulling back while ETH is rallying, which is kind of typically how they top. We could just take 130 times, 0.09, and that's an ultra conservative valuation for ETH. So 130 times 0.09 would be 11.7K on the conservative side, right? So I just don't even think it's really up for debate. Like, can ETH hit 10K? I'm like, you should literally be like, hey, 10K is like my base case. If you don't think it's possible for some reason, then you just shouldn't even hold ETH or any, like, nothing. But I'm telling you, like, it's 10K is going to be like, it'll be front ran for like a couple weeks, and then it will flip, and then people will just be like, damn, I can't believe we're at like 13.8 and I was nervous when ETH was chopping under 4K. You know, you'll look back in hindsight and just be like, I can't believe, like, I almost, or maybe you did, got chopped to bits, you know, when ETH dropped from 4,100 to, you know, 3K. It's going to look so insignificant, right? And it really is. And that's the same for all this ETH beta, you know, like Pepe, you know, which we're going to talk about. It's like people getting chopped up here just are not seeing the bigger picture on it. You know, they're not understanding how crazy things are really about to get. And man, I'm tired, boss. Like, I'm tired, Grandpa. I can only scream it for so long before I just get tired, Grandpa. You know, like, I just want everybody to gig and make it, and, you know, the fucking bears out there are trying to brainwash people. You know,
Yep.
Oh, there's some macroeconomic manufacturing number that's in contraction, and dude, shut your mouth. Like, you are just you think you're right curve, but you're so mid curve, you know, like regurgitating public data that we all watch. And like, you just can't, you just don't even position. You just waffle, you know, just like the waffle boys, man.
Macro dooming has kind of like revived in December is what I will say. It definitely feels like we went a few months without, I mean, probably haven't had this much discourse publicly around, you know, the quote unquote macro since like August and September. I think that translates positively for risk assets, specifically through the dollar, right? We've kind of been talking about how if it's not already topped, we expect it to be topping and rolling over probably around the time of the inauguration, because as much as the narrative is that we are likely to have a bit more conservative spending under the Trump administration, like I said at the start of the show, the first 100 days are more than likely going to be very much an extension of a populist agenda, which usually results in lots of stimulus and spending. So, you know, I think contextually it makes sense that we do see the dollar start to roll over. I was seeing some commentary on X over the weekend, actually, from a guy who nailed the dollar move in 2021, I believe, like January 2021. He basically longed the bottom. He said that, you know, dollar shorts were way offside. He said over this weekend, dollar longs are about just as offside now as they were offside in the other direction back in 2021. So, you know, I think we're finally seeing the dollar top out. Ultimately, that's, to me, the largest headwind that's been facing risk assets here over the last few weeks and preventing, you know, just probably mania in a lot of these risk assets and a lot of these altcoins. But we're going to see that shift, if not now, then by the time of the inauguration.
Bring in the mania and bring in the DXY collapse. Do it. Right at the level.
Do you think they were letting the dollar pump until Trump got in office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all part of the plan.
It is. The puppet masters.
I'm glad I publicly put out a video early last week saying I think this is where the Dixie tops, because that might end up aging quite well.
I mean, here's just we went over this last stream as well. Louis and I cooked on this chart here. And like here's ETH BTC up top, and here's Doge down below. And just just consider Doge to be more or less like your meme coin, altcoin beta index, right? Like when Doge is pumping, it typically like the whole market is just going frothy, right? Just in a stupid way. And look at how Doge, you know, our oscillator for risk has performed while ETH BTC has been bottoming, right? ETH BTC puts in a, you know, pivot low in Q4 of a Bitcoin halving year, which is marked out in green. And then it grinds up in Q1, actually moves up quite a bit. And then Q2 is crazy. And then look at what Doge does. You know, Doge goes vertical. Doge goes like we haven't even pumped yet. Like we're genuinely like we're like right here, guys. Like, and this is in log mode. Like no one's ready for the linear mode discussion. Look at the linear mode. I can't even fit it on the damn screen. Like we're right here, and people are acting like it's suddenly all over. And I'm just like I don't know how much more clear that I can be with people that the conditions that we've seen, you've been facing a headwind the entire time. Look at this. Like, despite Doge being up from, 5 cents to, 40 cents or whatever, it's like ETH BTC, which has also been like a risk on oscillator, or ETH BTC has really turned into more of an altcoin oscillator. Like when it's downtrending, it's Bitcoin season. When it's uptrending, it's just alt season. It's more or less like others dominance at this point. Okay. But you've been basically facing an others dominance and ETH BTC downturn for over 1,000 days, getting your teeth kicked in. And everybody like doesn't realize how crazy things are going to get. And like, you're going to get the majority of your gains for your altcoins when ETH BTC trends up in Q1 and Q2, and I just want people to make it, and just a lot of buckos out there. That's the problem, man. It's just a lot of buckos.
Buckos.
Classic buckos.
Louis, what are you charting here, bro? I see a secret chart in the back there.
Whoa.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I was looking at Andy,
Huh. What's that, Louis? I've never heard of it.
I might have done it again where I just publicly tweet the Andy low, but it's okay.
He's been known to do that.
I have been known to do that. That's how me and Max that's kind of how what got me the BB job, let's say.
Yeah, Louis showed me his meat stick, and then he got hired. So, the Andy meat stick, guys. I'm sorry, I didn't. I should clarify. Yeah, he showed me his Andy meat stick, and then he got hired. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, Andy just doing what it does before, putting in its big moves, and that is create a low, bounce. Slow bleed, run that low, trap bears, people panic sell, zoom, right? Just like that. I know Tommy like that. Again, here, right? Create a low, some nice wickage down here, get a bounce. Everyone gets optimistic once again, and then slowly but surely chops people to bits. People panic right at the exact low as we sweep it, zoom. All right. Again, bang, create a low, bounce, sweep it, bang. What did we just see? Right? We saw rejection at all-time high. Whoa, so scary. Rejection at all-time high. Like, that's not allowed to happen. Okay. Come back down. Test mid-range. Massive wicks put in here. Buyers were here. I was one of them. I was shoving here. I doubled my Andy position here when everyone was freaking out. And I watched as everyone panicked as it slow bled lower. And I'm looking back and I'm like, well, let's look at all the other times we did this. Am I going to panic here? No. We just put in a big bounce, let it sweep, and now we go, right? So, and it's at a confluent level, which is our mid-range here. So Andy, looking great, and, trading along with Pepe, which also looks good. So whoever sold over the weekend, get wrecked. Get wrecked.
Yeah, you heard it from Louis, guys. Get wrecked. There were a couple Andy Jeets, man. There's always at the worst time for Andy. Well, not the worst time for Andy, the worst time for like people holding. There's always someone who just like clips out 100 or 200K at the worst possible time, man. Like at in a low volume session, and they incur a bunch of slippage, and they just get absolutely fried. We always pick up holders on it because like someone scoops it, and then we just start ripping, right? It's like the Andy anthem is like, for every pump there must be a whale jeet that dies, and we had that. Like someone clipped out like 200K or something like that, and then we just like, it was just like an immediate like swing,
That's the market doing its job, man. It's like, it's too painful. Too much red.
Yeah.
Who will?
They
Must
clip at
die.
the worst. Yeah. And then they just sell at the worst possible time. What are you gonna do? Someone needs a sacrifice.
Who could have said that the charts are actually visual representation of market psychology?
Jackus, that doesn't even make sense. Trading line view doesn't make bounce. You have to study the macro more. Have you seen the manufacturing numbers come out of St. Louis recently, Jackus? I don't.
What's the macro on Andy?
Yeah, well, you wouldn't get it. I'd be happy to tell you, but you wouldn't understand.
It's us.
Yeah.
When interest rate hike, Andy.
We'll have to have a board
About-
meeting.
What about the jobs data?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pepe also looking really good. And
I think
again,
Pepe looks great here.
yeah, somebody bought a lot of Pepe over the weekend.
Somebody did. I wonder who
Somebody
it was.
did. But again, yeah, this is peak like capitulation.
It was Tommy. Oh, sorry.
It was me. I did buy a lot of
Had to
Pepe
say
this
it.
weekend.
I was so excited.
Victim.
I'm still actually buying more Pepe actively to start this week. So
I've been pestering Tommy about longing ETH. I was like a gnat all weekend. I was like, Tommy, are you long ETH yet? Tommy, can you be bullish ETH? And then randomly, he just creates this. I retweeted it on my X if you saw it. He put together a beautiful, beautiful Pepe fractal. And he shoved Pepe. And I'll tell you, it was something that I didn't expect, right? Because he was a little stubborn on wanting to long ETH, even though I was bugging him to. But instead of longing ETH, he said, fuck it, give me the frog. And like, I'm just so happy, man. Like that's when you know Tommy's always our last domino to like he's the tough one to crack, you know? But when Tommy gets bullish, that's when you know. That's when you know. Tommy, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit here.
oh no.
I want the people to see that fractal, and I want you to walk them through it. I don't want to just retweet it on X. I want you to show them that fractal here on Market Check because it's going to age really well, and I want to be able to recycle that clip for you.
Yeah, let me it's gonna take me a minute to chef that one up. I'm not as good as scaling the fractals as you are, Max, but I'll just I'll kind of walk through it a little bit here.
Nonsense.
Let me find the chart actually. Hold up.
Oh, that's nice too.
If it plays out though, we're making grillions of dollars. That's the the primary takeaway.
Yeah, believe in something. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, where is this bad boy? That's why it was so hard to scale because I wasn't using my loggles, guys. Hold up. Let me pull a me.
Wow.
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 I'm gonna have to fit Pepe a little bit more, but you know, we've talked a lot about the potential for obviously.
Wait, sorry, real quick. Just hide your other tickers so the charts are bigger. That'll help.
Yeah, that's real. Hold on.
You can just click them off. Yeah, there you go. Okay, perfect. All right, back to you.
I mean, we've obviously talked a lot about how, you know, when you talk about where Doge was at this point of the altcoin cycle, right? I mean, I felt like there was much more attention around Doge, or rather, you know, I remember when Doge crossed 1 cent, everybody was freaking out. Even my friends who don't even trade crypto, they're not even in crypto. They're like, holy shit, Doge is above 1 single cent. And I don't, you know, most of my normie friends aren't even talking about Pepe yet. I don't know if it'll play out quite like this, right? You always have to add that caveat, but I do think that there is a chance we see, you know, obviously the winning meme coin of this cycle really blow through some targets in a way that, you know, maybe we didn't expect, redefine what the possible targets are for some of these meme coins. So I was just kind of looking at, as I always do, I'm a student of price. I'm always looking at prior charts. I'm trying to find comparisons to where we could be on some of the assets that, of course, I'm trading, that we're all trading. I found this bit of price action on SHIB that I think is actually pretty reminiscent of where Pepe is right now. And obviously, I know the market caps are very, very different from where these respective movements occurred. But I just saw a lot of comparisons between these two, right? You've got, in a similar way, huge pop from a previous cyclical low. I know that's not quite the same, right? This was not the cyclical low on Pepe. These are much higher market caps, but structurally, I see a lot of similarities here, guys. I'm hoping, that we're somewhere in here, obviously. We haven't seen the volumes come in that would indicate a blow off top yet on something like Pepe. And if we are going to kind of scale it, not just to the Doge pop, but also potentially to, if ETH does go above like 10, 15K, what does that mean for the primary ETH beta? You're going to see a lot. I mean, we've talked all the time about that wealth effect in ETH and majors on centralized exchanges. I don't think that we've quite seen that play out yet on Pepe. So again, I'm going to reiterate, we don't have to pull as many X's as SHIB did from where it made this move at that point of the cycle, but structurally, I do see a lot of similarities here, probably more so with any other meme coin of the last cycle. And I do think, contextually speaking, that Pepe is probably much, much earlier within its bull cycle than we think. I know everybody's kind of given these targets for Pepe, right? Like most of them range, okay, I think Pepe is going to 50. I think Pepe is going to 100 billion. How often is the consensus correct? I'd say almost never. So I think there's a good chance that we could go way higher than people expect. If there is a meme coin that's going to do it this cycle, it's more than likely going to be Pepe. At least that's kind of my base assumption. So we'll see. But I have to say I'm getting very, very bullish on Pepe into a seasonally very favorable period for Ethereum.
Well, I love it, Tommy. I totally agree with you, which shouldn't be shocking to anybody. But you're right about 50 to 100 billion being a little bit crowded, right? And when you really think about like how suppressed Ethereum has been and how we fully understand that ETH USD appreciating is really, it's like throwing gasoline on the Pepe fire. Like when ETH starts cooking a little bit, Pepe goes crazy. What happens when ETH starts cooking a lot of bit, right? What happens when Bitcoin's rallying, but ETH is really rallying? I don't think many people realize like Pepe is already, damn near 10 billion in market cap and ETH is still sub 4K, right? So this idea of like 50 billion being like a crazy target for some people or even 100 billion, it's like, what if ETH goes to 15K? What if ETH 4Xs from right here, right? Do you really think that Pepe is not going to at least just track ETH performance and just trade at parity with it? I mean, you would expect it to dramatically outperform ETH, right? So the bear case for me at this point is that ETH goes to, above 10K, 10 to 15K minimum, right? So 3 to 4X. And Pepe will, at minimum, 3 to 4X, just tracking what ETH is doing. But truthfully, I would expect Pepe to at least 2 or 3X whatever ETH does as ETH beta, right? So now you're talking about Pepe doing, 8 to 15X or something like that, right? And what if ETH goes to 20K, right? What if ETH goes even higher? I view what happened with Doge last cycle. I view it as like it just started to pave a path for like how crazy a meme coin can get, right? And I think that a lot of people are going to be looking to chase that mania and froth for a meme coin, like even big money, like funds will be like, we want to catch like, we want to really capitalize on like the meme coin mania, right? And what are they going to do? They're going to pile into Pepe. Like there truly is a base, like there is a case for Pepe to go to like $250 billion. I'm not kidding. Yeah. There truly is.
Well, think about it from like just basic math, right? I mean, Doge market cap peaked at 90 to 100 billion in the last cycle. If ETH were to 4 to 5x its market cap from the previous cycle, I mean, wouldn't that mean that if just assuming that meme coins performed at the exact same level as the previous bull cycle, 4 to 5x that Doge market capitalization for the leading meme coin, doesn't seem that unattainable, right? At least not to me. So I kind of view it. Obviously, it is kind of a bit of a shot in the dark, but I do view it as more of a possibility than I think people are discussing, right? And it's like we said, 50 to 100 billion has kind of become so consensus for Pepe that either we don't come close to it at all, which I don't think is contextually that favorable given the period that we're heading into seasonally, or we're going to way overshoot it. And I say right now, I'm definitely in the latter camp.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and I already said this, but it really helps me to just think about it, like ignoring Pepe's market cap. Think about the relationship between Pepe and ETH, and then look at the ETH BTC chart, and it all becomes a lot more clear, you know. And I mean, look, I was always targeting like 50 billion ish on Pepe. That was my base case. Like, there's videos on this YouTube when we were at 300 million doing videos being like, we're going to 50 billion. I didn't expect us to get to 10 billion in market cap with ETH still under 4K. So that changes things for me, right? I was expecting ETH to probably be trading at like 6K at least, you know, and Pepe would be about 10 billion. But because Pepe has gone on to perform so well, despite its alpha not doing jack shit, I think you have to kind of readjust your targets for what is possible for Pepe in the simplest of terms. I don't know. I just think that, I mean, I think you're spot on, Tommy. I really do. Like where is big money going to flow when they want to bet on like froth? Are they going to shove it into Doge again? Maybe a little bit. They're certainly not going to shove it into SHIB. They're going to shove it into Pepe, right?
No, they're going to put it in the chart on the left, Max.
Yeah, buying shit.
And guys, in regards to Andy and like Wolf, my long-term cycle target for Andy has been to basically eclipse about 10% of Pepe's market cap. So you can do the math on whatever that means. But I do think that as Pepe is having a blow off top and then starts to roll over, you're going to see a big rotation into the boys club, right? And I would expect that valuation for Andy is about 10%, give or take. So you can figure that out. I've got some fibs that back that up as well.
So we got some people saying you've gone quiet on Wolf, Max, even though you host literally Wolf Spaces every week. We've gone quiet.
That? Who said that? Give me a name. Put it on the screen, Louis. Who did that?
I can't. I don't have access.
Yes. Well, give me a name then. We love you, Max.
There's one before that too.
Yeah, when I get back in town, we're gonna do those spaces again. So that'll be, I think, the 14th will be the next Tuesday that I'm in town. Who said that? Who said I was bailing on Wolf? I need a name.
It was the same person, just a little earlier than that, and they followed up with the "I love you." So I think they realized that.
Dude, who?
It's like one day you do not talk about the stuff you talk about all the time, and suddenly it's like, what happened? Did you break up relationship with my coin or something?
Dude, it's real. Like, dude, I'm so bullish on Wolf. Like it's insane. Like, I'll chart some Wolf right now for you. Like, how dare you? How dare you question it, man? I'm a Wolf mega whale, man.
Let's get a howl.
I can't. They clipped it last time. I can't do it again. They clipped me last time. There might not be a more bullish looking chart in crypto than Wolf.
Yeah.
Like, look at this chart. What you even need? It doesn't need me to talk about it. Look at this chart. It's honestly like the most bullish looking chart in crypto right here. And this is ETH beta as well. Like, Wolf has gone on to do this despite ETH being a piece of crap. Right? Like, it's incredible. And then we'll expand on this further. Like, Wolf, of course, being part of the boys club, right? It should have a relationship with Pepe. All right, so let's look at the relationship to Pepe here. It's pair trading pretty damn nice against Pepe. Look at this giant range that it's been in. This is kind of an old PO3 schematic, so we'll have to adjust it a little bit here. What is... Here we go. I mean, look at this thing. It's up only against Pepe, which is up only. Like, if Pepe goes to some of these targets that we're talking about, this is Wolf divided against Pepe, guys. You understand what this means? When this chart goes up, that means that Wolf is outperforming Pepe. When it's going down, Pepe is outperforming Wolf. Like, this is objectively a very bullish looking chart, and it's Wolf paired against the most bullish large cap meme to arguably ever exist. You understand what that means for Wolf? Like, this is going to go up. Like, this chart is going to break to the upside and establish a new range somewhere up here. So if Pepe goes up 10x and Wolf goes up, 350% against Pepe on its pair chart, then you got to take 10x times 4x, and that's what Wolf is going to do. Max isn't bullish, Wolf. How
Does
dare
he
you?
know?
How dare you? You should see my object tree. You should see my object tree. You couldn't handle my object tree. That's the truth. You couldn't handle my object tree.
Maybe that guy saw that it's the April 1st already.
Wow, look at this prediction by Irenaeus. Pepe 293 billion by middle of April. People see and hope for 420 billion in May. Cycle does sell in April, go away, as it has been front running about a month. Perfect blow off top for Pepe.
Dude, if Pepe goes to 293 billion, I'm going to be euphoric. You don't even understand. Like, the amount of Pepe that I own and have been buying recently. I'm all in, man. Like, the boat is burned. It is Valhalla or it is death. So
I'll tell you what though, I do like the idea of front running the sell in May, go away in April. I do like the idea of that, because we have seen several instances where we are like, anywhere between 3 to 4 weeks ahead of what we've seen previously. So I do like that. I mean, obviously also like 293 billion Pepe. That's madness, but who knows?
This is my Pepe dominance chart. I don't really. What?
Pepe needs to go to 69 billion because it's Pepe 0x69.
I think it's going to go to 0.069% Pepe dominance as well, Jackus.
Pick your winner.
What if we just meme 469 billion into existence?
Dude, I'd be euphoric. You don't even understand. Like, but that would probably require ETH to go to like 25 or 30K, honestly. Which I don't know. I mean, look, you've got the next sitting president shoving ETH, Aave, and Link, in World Liberty Fi wallets.
What does he know?
I mean, if there was ever a time for like, I don't even know like what to say.
His boy, which is Elon now, has literally changed his profile picture to Pepe. Like, you don't think he knows about Pepe now? Come on, he knows.
Yes.
What happens then, guys? Like, who is the next buyer after all of this? Or does it all come crashing down?
Jackus, I'll be long gone at that point. Like,
do you escape to Mars or something? Like,
no, I just become a Bitcoin maxi. Like if Pepe goes to 420 billion, which by the way, I don't really think that that's realistic. But if it does, I mean, I just wait for Bitcoin I take profits. I wait for Bitcoin to pull back 50%, and then I just shove Bitcoin and turn my brain off. So I don't know. I mean, I don't think that's happening. I think we're getting a little out in front of our skis here, but like, I do think like 100 billion plus Pepe is on the table. I just don't know exactly what that means. I don't know. And I think it really depends on what ETH does at the end of the day. Like if you get a 10K ETH, I think you go to like, 50 to 70 billion. I think if you get a 15K ETH, you go to 120 billion. I think if you go to, ETH goes to 20K plus, then I think you're talking about 200 billion plus on Pepe, and it can get pretty out of hand. So it's just, to me, it's almost like if Doge went to 80 billion last cycle, that was what, 3.5, 4 years ago. Like, why is Pepe not positioned to do that and then some? You know,
It's a valid argument. It's a very valid argument.
why expect that it would do the same when in theory it really should do more? Adjusted for a lot of different things. It could get crazy. Well,
All right,
guys, that is the end of the show. We are at our time. So, Tommy, would you be a gentleman? Share your screen. Tell them about how they can change their lives for the better.
For sure. I was actually actively pulling it up.
Ooh.
Good timing. Like Max was saying, guys, we have reached the end of the show, but we do have a few ways that you can hopefully potentially change your lives. And that starts obviously with the BB terminal, guys. That is your go-to tool for this cycle, right? Whether or not you are an active trader, trading lower time frames, trading derivatives, trading open interest data, we have the tool for you. Whether or not you are a long-term investor looking to make more educated decisions on obviously your investments, statistical analysis on high time frame trends and the way that this market tends to move, we have the tool for you. And of course, whether or not you are an on-chain degen that loves to trade meme coins, loves to trade AI agents now too. I've seen quite a few people in the comments calling top on the AI agent meta. Well, we will soon have the tool for you as well to hopefully be able to deduce those trends a little bit more granularly as well. Of course, guys, we also have your go-to source of alpha for this cycle, which is our Discord. We've packaged these together so that you can potentially get them at a discount. But if you guys are looking for a team that is unbelievably dedicated, providing alpha, and here every single day, we are giving 4 to 5 hours of daily calls to our subscribers. They get our active thoughts on the market and at times even our positioning as we enter them. If that interests you, of course, like I said, we did package these things together for you at a discounted rate. So make sure to take advantage because as we always say, as the prices of the market go higher, so do the prices of our products. And we are probably going to look to make our Discord a little bit more exclusive because so many of you have been joining. So yeah, make sure to take advantage of these prices while you still can. Of course, if you are looking to hone your educational base or even reach trading level mastery, we have a product for you as well, and that is the BB Academy, guys. Make sure to check that out as well. You get to learn from the entire team, all of our trading styles, our analysis, and ultimately the way that we approach the market and our trades. Check that out as well. Of course, if none of that floats your boat or all of it, right? I mean, picking assets in this market can be difficult. Handling the downside volatility can be as well. We have an SEC registered hedge fund if you are interested in having the team potentially manage money for you. So make sure to check that out as well, guys. A reminder that we trade digital assets in a way that looks to capture their asymmetric history for upside returns while also balancing the downside risk posed in any financial markets. Everything that I just mentioned is linked in the description below if it interests you. So like I said, check that out before the end of the show or after the show if you are, of course, watching after the live show has ended. If you enjoyed Market Check today, we'll be back for another episode tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is our typical start time, or really a little bit after that. But that is usually when we go live every single weekday that the New York Stock Exchange is open. So check that out, as well as Market Talk hosted by King Wabi. That is live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday on our Because Bitcoin X account, as well as through Wabi's personal account. So make sure to follow both of those accounts so you can be notified, not just when we schedule those spaces, but ultimately also when we go live. But happy Monday, guys. Welcome back. If this is your first show of the new year, welcome back, especially to you guys. We're going to have a great 2025. But until tomorrow, thank you again, as always. And of course, stay safe.